Star Citizen Alpha 3.18 is now in open PTU, so any Star Citizen players can try it. But what's new in the patch and how do we access that or get to the new content? Well, that's what we're going to do in this video, be you in 3.18's open PTU or even the live build. To access the open PTU though, you'll need a Star Citizen game package, then you'll want to copy your account onto the PTU via the RSI website. In the top right, you've got account, settings, and then go to the public test universe tab, copy. After that, you can access the PTU via the drop down on the game launcher. So what's new in game? Salvage, both by hand and in ship, is new in Alpha 3.18. You can use a multi-tool and salvage attachment to strip the hulls of ships. The only requirement is that the shields are down on the ship. You can use this to repair holes in hulls too. So you've got a big old gaping hole from a battle. You can paste that shut with the salvage tool as long as you've got some RMC in your canister there, which you get from stripping hulls. Most places that sell a multi-tool will sell the attachments there as well. The Reclaimer and the newly added Vulture can both do hull stripping salvage at a larger scale, and this is done in a similar way to mining. Firstly, you'll want to find a wreck. You can find these at Lagrange points or from battles. Ping to detect them, then go into mining mode. You can do this with M, and then power wash the hull. You can press G to toggle how the beams move, and you can also use left alt and left or right click to change the convergence of the beams. You will need to dispense the salvage into 1 SU boxes and then move them with a multi-tool tractor beam attachment and place them in your ship's cargo grid to continue salvage. So basically your dispenser gets full of salvage and then you have to dispense it into a box and then move it. You can also craft multi-tools as well as salvage tractor beam attachments in the back of your Reclaimer and Vulture from the filler stations using salvage materials. Also, you can use these to make RMC canisters for the salvage tool to do repairing with. Ships in Alpha 3.18 will often just be permanently disabled after a battle rather than explode. So you can then salvage them or board the ships as their cargo will still be intact if they didn't explode. NPCs will be killed when a ship is sort of permanently disabled in this state, but player crews will survive. Just remember that you might have to fight if you've taken out a player ship and you want to board them. Also, you can shoot at a ship more to make it explode, and this happens when ships are flying in atmosphere as well. You get taken down in atmosphere, typically the impact to the ground afterwards will make your ship explode even if you survived the initial encounter. Also, now if an NPC ship gets the better of you, then you're still going to be alive in the wreck of your ship in a lot of cases. The cargo refactor in 3.18 means that commodity cargo is now movable via the tractor beam in 1 SCU boxes. It's also now a bit easier to buy and sell from terminals and kiosks. This is awesome for looting and recovering cargo and sort of boarding ships as well when it's in conjunction with that soft destruction system. PES, or persistent entity streaming in 3.18, means that objects placed or wrecks will persist on a server between sessions and states are saved as well for servers. So you could pile up a load of wrecks somewhere or a cache of weapons. Unfortunately though, you might not get back on the same server you were on before when you relog. You will see a lot of things in servers that you were in that make them feel more lived in and alive though. So yeah, they are going to be full of surprises. They are going to be full of sort of like interesting content, wrecks where you don't expect them to be. Random items might tell a story of actually what happened in an area. We are, however, waiting on shard affinity and some more tech towards server meshing before persistent entity streaming is more fully utilized and you're able to get back on the same server that you were on regularly. You can expect to see a lot of wrecks and interesting situations though in 3.18 because of this. There are some new missions at Orison on the platforms where the Siege of Orison previously took place. Complete a Crusader security mission, so the assessment mission is probably the most one that peeps will have after the wipe. Assuming you completed that successfully, you'll then start to see the Orison platform missions appearing in your contracts manager. And although these are on the same platforms as the Siege of Orison, you can actually fly your ship all the way to your mission and land on top or outside of the building without the threat of all the defenses in the world shooting at you. The missions have different types of objectives, sort of assassinate, clear a certain amount of enemies, take out a boss. You can run them solo, but these are best done in a pair or small group in my opinion, as sometimes the NPCs are relatively deadly. More difficult versions of the mission will appear as you gain reputation with Crusader. Racing is a big thing in Alpha 3.18. There are a load of racetracks and time trial missions for them that appear on your contracts manager. These are ship races that are actually mostly in atmosphere or on planets. The first track that you'll have access to that will appear in your contracts manager is at Hurston on the outskirts of Lorville. Complete the track with a good enough time and you'll get access to the next one, or you can keep trying to beat your previous best time as well for rewards. There are 7 tracks in total to compete in. If you want something a little more lighthearted, anyone can go to the Vision Center on Orison via shuttle and take part in a freeform PTV buggy race. Less of a race and more of just sort of a free-for-all silly drive around fest. Security Post Korea SPK is now off limits to lawful folk as well as, I suppose, criminals. But criminals can go there and hack down their criminal rating now. In fact, it's the only place you can now hack down your criminal rating. You can kill the Crusader security there until a boss spawns, and then if you kill them as well, you can use the code that they drop to hack the security room and then dispense high-value items. Be too disruptive for too long at Security Post Korea, though, and players will get bounty missions to come and take you out, and this gives them illegal access to the area as well. There is a lot of funneling of PvP into this area in this patch. Prison gameplay has expanded as well. There are NPCs running around the tunnels that you can mug. There's also a mission you can take while in the caves, if you find the dark zone, that tasks you with escaping the prison and finding the body on the way. You'll see this added to your Mobiglass your contracts manager if you are in the right place, or should I say deep enough in the caves. Also now, once you have escaped the prison, there are security sort of little detachments to find with ships if you look around, so you can actually escape the planet on a ship that's not too far away from the prison. If you want to see some cool new stuff as a tourist, there's, well, I suppose it's not that safe for a tourist, Whistler's Crypt, which is the Daymar crash site. There's a derelict 600i and Mercury Star Runner combined with like a settlement altogether, but the Ninetales run that, so there are missions that appear there like retrieval ops. When you're around Crusader, just check the mission text and it will say if it's at Whistler's Crypt. This can be quite dangerous as an FPS scenario. If you just want to visit the crash site without taking the mission, then you can quantum jump while at Daymar to NT999, and then using your compass on your HUD, set it to 47, just look at 47, and then travel for about 130, 132 kilometers, and you'll see the location. There are loads of new rivers and lakes, in fact 40 new rivers across Hurston and Microtech. There's sand caves around various moons in-game like Daymar. They are also home to the Stonebug, which is a harvestable, but I suppose it is a living creature of sorts. It's certainly jiggly. There are 30 plus new derelicts and outpost locations, a few other things. There is a fantastic hotkey edition of left alt and N for takeoff and landing requests, a load more ships and vehicles which are purchasable in-game, crime stats of 2 or less don't mark you as a criminal, so that means you can land at landing zones without getting shot, and you can pay those crime stats off at fine terminals. Gen 12 renderer is in here too. That might give you a couple of extra frames, but it's more beneficial for players that were CPU bottlenecked previously. Ballistic weapons now almost entirely pass through shields, but ships have damage mitigation against ballistic weapons. Arena Commander has had some quality of life improvements. There are a load of new missions making use of denser gameplay area and those new features. Jumptown 2.1, which is an updated version of the Jumptown event, as well as Xenothreat and Siege of Orison, will all be running during the patch cycle. Cloud Imperium will announce this on their website once these events are up. I will also be going over some of the lesser known and minor features of 3.18 in another video in a lot more detail, so look out for that soon. Boom! That's it for what's new in 3.18 and how to access that new content. Have I missed anything? Chuck it in the comments below. If you have any questions for 3.18 stuff or any tips, I'd love to hear them in the comments below as well. What are your experiences of 3.18 so far? What do you think of Salvage? Has persistent entity streaming, cargo, and the soft destruction improvements helped with your enjoyment of the game? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below.
That's the last chevron locked in, Mr. Daniel Jackson, who is legally distinct from any doctors of the same name. We've done it. We've connected to another world. Daniel Jackson, we're being hacked through the gates to the stars, which is also legally distinct from any other gates that travel to the stars. We should have got NordVPN, Daniel Jackson. we would have been able to browse the internet safely, accessed our favourite content on Netflix, and we would have been able to have privacy. We would have had less of these Egyptian-looking snake people attacking us too.
You should check out nordvpn.com/BoredGamer and get yourself a great deal on NordVPN. Just click the link in the comments section below. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For February, it's for a Crusader Spirit C1, the very cool looking multi-crew, multi-role competitor to the Cutlass Black and Freelancer. As it's a concept ship, you'll get a Cutlass Black until it's made flyable. You'll get lifetime insurance with the ship and a game package for Star Citizen 2, so all you need to play. Just comment on any of my videos made during the month to be in for a chance of winning that. If you would like to further support the channel, then consider becoming a Patreon or using that join button under my YouTube videos to become a channel member. It goes a massive way to helping us make videos every day, and you'll get some exclusive content from me and Zinnia from time to time too. Become a board gamer today!